Namaste and a warm welcome to all of you. Today we are gathered here to share our thoughts on our new initiative which is Srijan, Code to Creation. आज हम चलेंगे उस टाइम में जहाँ डेवलपमेंट से पहले काफ़ी कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट हो रहा है और वो इसलिए क्योंकि एक सेक्रेट रिचुअल जो होता है उसे ढंग से परफॉर्म नहीं किया जाता जिसे कहते हैं रिक्वायरमेंट गैदरिंग. सिट बैक्स एंड रिलैक्स. सो दिस सेशन क्वेश्चंस होंगे फॉर्मल और आंसर्स होंगे इनफॉर्मल विटी बट एक्सपीरियंस के साथ. सो टुडे आई वेलकम पंकज विद मी and the topic will be requirement gathering. So the very first question, what exactly a requirement gathering is in Salesforce?
So before Salesforce, it is important to understand what requirement gathering is. So it is understanding what client is asking for. So in an informal way, like if my mother says prepare a tea, so I need to ask for what type of tea. Is the green tea, is the normal tea, what type of tea is there? And then again, ki doodh wali chai chahiye, pani wali chai chahiye. Along with tea, what is required? Biscuit is required, something else is required. One need to be very specific when you talk about requirements. As simple as that. Just by saying making a tea will not give a proper answer. The requirement will not close. So in the VRD sessions also, it is important to close the requirement to understand it thoroughly.
Next question we have is, why can't we start building up straight away?
Why can't we start building up straight away? So I think suppose if you want to give a gift to someone, want to give a gift to someone, so you directly can't give the gift straight away without knowing. Let's say I want to give a shoes to my brother. So I should know what is the size of the shoe. So the size may be 9, size may be 10, size may be 11, size may be 12. And if I purchase a shoe and it is non-refundable, so it is quite obvious I will be at a loss position. So idea is very simple. We can't start doing development without having the discussion. What are the pain points of the customer? As simple as that. So one should know why we are building the solution. And for that, actually, one should at least have the requirement gathering sessions and then to start.
चीज़ मुझे याद है कि अगर when a client says it's too easy, do it. So
too easy and too difficult is always relative. I think for me, something which is very easy may not be easy for everyone. I think, let's say they want to put a button in a Salesforce, quick actions hota hai, in simple words. So maybe the client expectation is कि हमें तो मार्स पे सैटेलाइट लॉन्च करना है. तो अगर वो लॉन्च करना है और वो उनके लिए इजी है, so that is not easy for everyone. I think everybody knows that by a simple quick action, how easy and how difficult it is to have the further activities. We have to call a flow, we have to call a API, we have to call anything. So I think we can't start in just that way only. So
and also a major factor is that you should not assume anything.
You should not assume anything. Absolutely.
Understand. Don't assume. Sometimes a client feels like यार मेरी कोई सुन नहीं रहा है या जो मैं रिक्वायरमेंट दे रहा हूँ वो सही तरह से डॉक्यूमेंट हो भी रही है या नहीं हो रही. So I can make a client feel hurt.
I can make a client feel hurt. So I think our schooling में जो हम करते थे, like if we in schools, if teacher says कि ये Friday तक submit करना है और ये टेबल याद करनी है, so you can let's say repeat the same line. यही लाइन सबमिट करनी है और आई हैव टू ओनली रिमेंबर टेबल ऑफ 5 और टेबल ऑफ 6, गोइंग बैक वेरी टू द वेरी बेसिक्स ऑफ स्कूल ओनली. इवन इफ योर बॉस सेज कि ये रिपोर्ट चाहिए, या इफ आई से समवन, तो वन कैन रिकन्फर्म दैट पार्ट. यस, व्हाट इज एग्जैक्टली रिक्वायर्ड फॉर दैट पार्ट. एंड फ्रॉम अ बीए पर्सपेक्टिव, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वन शुड डॉक्यूमेंट थिंग्स आल्सो. लाइक इफ देयर वाज अ डिस्कशन हेल्ड टुडे, so client, I think those who are in the BA profile, they will definitely have that heat actually कि वो client requirement change कर देता है. So it is important to document that part. That simple mail will be actually the proof, and write one liner that this is what we have discussed. If you have anything else, please try to add that part. If they are not adding, means that is by default included. So going back the same line, so you can repeat the same thing. This is being done and this is being done, and I think that is a way.
But sir, sometimes client uses very confusing terms. So
that is a part and parcel of this job. I think if you are in the initial stage of a career, that is a part and parcel of this job only. So DLI is something I have heard few days back. So if you have heard about DLI, Digital Lending India, and if ADL is a term, Agent for Data Library, so वो तो freshers को समझना ही पड़ेगा उसमें. And that is how seniors or anybody in the up in the ladder, they have this tendency. As simple as that. And for Salesforce, it is easy for us. We can at least understand, and we can say, वो हम याद कर सकते हैं, वो हम मेमोराइज कर सकते हैं, वो हमें पता होना चाहिए. बट मेन प्रॉब्लम विल बी when things will come outside Salesforce, and that system is very vast. So I think that is a key. Well, that there is no shortcut actually. One only need to understand, and then so अब आप सपोज आपने अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट स्टार्ट नहीं किया है तो सिप में एसआईपी में इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहिए. अब एसआईपी अगर आप बहुत अर्ली स्टेज में, अगर आप स्कूल में है तो एसआईपी शायद किसी को नहीं पता होगी. बट दैट इज हाउ इन्वेस्टमेंट पीपल टॉक लाइक दिस, दैट इज हाउ आईटी पीपल टॉक लाइक दिस. अब एडीएल इज, मैंने एजेंट फोर्स का प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा हूं मैं, एंड आई कम टू नो एडीएल, तो आई सर्च फॉर व्हाट इज एडीएल, आई कम टू नो एजेंट फोर डेटा लाइब्रेरी. तो उसमें कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है.
सर फॉलोइंग टू दिस, समटाइम्स ना व्हाट हैपेंस इज हम बीआरडी सेशन में हैं, there are a lot of spokes involved in the BRD session. So what if when two stakeholders give different requirements? So there's a conflict in requirement from the stakeholders.
Yes, there is a conflict in requirement. So I think if we see the hierarchy of a project, there will be someone who is sponsoring the project. So again, this session is mainly for freshers also who have not got the feel of the project. So there is, I'll be explaining in little detail as well. So sponsors will be someone who are decision makers and who are at the level 1 and level 2. They are, we can say, are the main stakeholders who are involved on daily basis. As simple as that. So one simple thing is, in professional or in formal way, so if I'm getting a requirement from L1 and there are multiple L1s are involved, so it is important to go for decision maker only. This is what A is saying, this is what B is saying. So what is the output that will be decided by the stakeholder or the higher level. अगर हम घर पे बात करते हैं in informal way, in simple terms, तो let's say कि आपके फैमिली में 3 मेंबर्स हैं और आप हो और आपके ब्रदर है, आपकी सिस्टर है और आपके फादर है, एंड इफ यू आर फाइटिंग फॉर कि कौन से रेस्टोरेंट में जाना है, कि वेदर इटालियन जाना है और नॉन वेज जाना है और वेजिटेरियन रेस्टोरेंट में जाना है, सो डिसीजन मेकर के पास जाना चाहिए. सो हु इज द डिसीजन मेकर एक्चुअली? इफ समवन correct, exact. If you ask from my father who is a decision maker, I think he will give the correct answer. Actually the mother is a decision maker. So I think that is how the decision maker, so there will be some decision makers in the project also. So those are like, one should go for those decision makers itself. So if there are 2 stakeholders, 3 stakeholders, so I think one should try for that part only. So
I have to go for a client to gather requirement. So what are the first steps I should keep in mind, or how should I prepare myself for this?
But this is an interesting question, or this is an like important question?
Interesting and important.
Interesting and important. But I don't see anything which need to be done like for the first call. So in an informal way, the first of all in an informal way. So I think most of them are in the age group of 20 to 25, I believe. And like the way you go for your first date, as simple as that. So same preparation you can say can be required for the first call itself. So although some basic ground rules are important, like basic ground rules for anything is important, so those preparations are important. If you are going for the requirement gathering, the SOW or document that is there, you need to study for that document. If you are going for a requirement gathering, one need to study about the company, as simple as that. So the company will be in which domain the company is. It's an automobile company or finance company or something like that. So I think that is the main thing. So basic ground rules for first thing is always same. अगर आप जॉब में फर्स्ट डे आ रहे हैं तो व्हाट आर बेसिक रूल्स, सो सम बेसिक रूल्स आर देयर इटसेल्फ, एंड सेम एंड सो फोर्थ फॉर द फर्स्ट क्लाइंट इंटरेक्शन एज वेल.
एंड इफ यू हैव टू एक्सप्लेन दिस इन अ वेरी इनफॉर्मल वे, लाइक आप जब भी फर्स्ट डेट पे जाते हो, व्हाट डू? यू प्रिपेयर योरसेल्फ, राइट? यू मेक श्योर you look good, you have all the backgrounds checks, what the person is, from where the person is. So similarly, to gather requirements for the first time with the client, you should prepare yourself. जैसे डेट पे कैसे करते हैं, अच्छी ड्रेस होनी चाहिए, अच्छे शूज़ होने चाहिए, आई शुड वेयर अ गुड परफ्यूम. What you are doing, you are just preparing yourself, right? So you have to do the same with the client meetings as well.
Just to add, बहुत कैजुअल भी नहीं होना है. So let's say अगर मैं प्रिपेयर होके गया और मैंने जीन्स पहनी हुई है और टी-शर्ट.
How to deal with unclear client requirements? So ये ऐसी चीजें सर जो हर कोई फेस करता है.
So for unclear again is like relative term. So I think if client is saying, like example is, if client is saying I want a quick access for my data, I want one single snapshot for my data. The clarity is very simple, whether they want a report or dashboard. So I think we need to go to that level of detailing where it is easy for my developer team to build that part. As simple as that. I want a quick access to data. As a BA, as a functional consultant, I can have 5 options. I may provide a list view, I may provide a Excel, I may provide a CSV, but that specifically things has to be mentioned in the requirement document. So quick access to data will be a report also. In report, I think if we have a tabular report that can give a quick access to data, it can be a dashboard also. So dashboard is also on a similar lines. So quick access means any n number of things, but when you go for a closure, when there's a requirement gathering sessions are there, one need to highlight it in a very formal way. Quick access means only report with a specific grouping, with a specific filters, and so on and so forth. Although sometimes we get very less time and we do not have sufficient time to write in that much detailing, but at least it should be documented either in email or in the Word file. I think we understand one thing, all the teams or all the groups need to be aligned also. So we are here for Salesforce implementation. If I only say quick access to data, that will not be the end thing. Developer को क्या करना है ये तो बता दो. So that क्या करना है वाला part should come with the document part only. So I think that.
What if someone missed to ask something very important to a client?
What if someone asks? So I think in our projects, what I have seen, we have a thing called action items. So I think first of all, if we are having the requirement sessions, so those should not be a full day long sessions. Although due to some pressure and due to something, we normally keep full day long sessions also, but there should be at least 1 or 2 hours of activity post those requirement sessions also. That is point number 1. In those requirements, you can recall and you can recreate some new questions. Like if I have captured certain things, so some scenarios may come. If those scenarios are actually coming up, so those can be documented. Or in projects, I have seen a thing called action items. So we can create an action item and we can assign an owner that this is pending with XYZ person, and so on and so forth. Again, all these things, what I am telling is based on the experience only. So it is not a hard and fast rule कि ऐसे ही करना होता है. It is up to your will and wish also. So I'm not saying यही follow होगा. Like it is like some ground rules are there. After those ground rules, it is up to you. Like car driving में कुछ ground rules होते हैं. Like there's no mandatory part यही होना चाहिए और ये नहीं होना चाहिए. So car driving or my output actually depends on what type of road is there. Is it raining? It's not raining, and so on and so forth. So the ground rule says that those brainstorming sessions has to be there post that discovery session. Point number 1. And if you have missed out certain things, next day आप पूछ सकते हो with the client, or you can ask in the, we can say in the action item list also. So those basic ground rules are like that only.
Rightly said, sir. So what does the client means when they say it's a simple solution?
So I think we have already covered that part. So I think when we say simple solution, as I already told, when we have a thing called, we have an action. So what action need to be performed? किसी को मारना है, किसी को कूटना है, क्या करना है, तो वो कौन सा एक्शन होगा, that is always something important. Is it an online action, offline action, API call out, मंगल पे ग्रह लॉन्च करना है, क्या करना है? So that is, I think.
सर मैं क्या समझता हूँ, अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है क्लाइंट जब बोलता है कि इट्स अ सिंपल सॉल्यूशन या छोटी सी रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो इसकी 2 चीज़ें निकलती हैं. सो ईदर यू आर अ फ्रेशर या फिर आप खुद क्लाइंट हो. क्योंकि क्लाइंट को ही लगता है कि उसका रिक्वायरमेंट छोटा है और ईजी है, तो डू नॉट अज्यूम. हाउ डू आई ग्रो फास्टर एज अ फ्रेशर?
So faster as a fresher, I think during your shadowing period or during your first project, I think you learn certain things. Obviously, whatever ground rules that we have discussed, so somebody will learn those things is point number 1. And there is no thing that the same will be repeated also. So learning, unlearning, both should go parallel, as simple as that, from project 1 to project 2. Same thing for developer as well. It's not a hard and fast rule. If you learn certain things, obviously for development, it is important that whatever apex skills or whatever things you are learning, same will be repeated. But for a client, requirements or those pain points will always be different. So I have seen in my past 2 projects, both of them are Service Cloud, but they have a different set of requirements. As simple as that. So whatever I have learned from project number 1 was not useful in project number 2. So learning, unlearning, both things are important. So that is a beauty, that is an important thing for a BA actually, to actually see that things are always not same. Things are not always streamlined. And then mapping part is something which is important. So learning, unlearning is point number 1, which is there. And do not assume anything. So if you know that case management is something that is a part of Service Cloud, so that may not be same for everyone. Everybody may not have a same, or we can say same pain points. So I think this is what I can say. As a fresher, do not assume anything. Document every part. Capabilities of product is something which is by default is a case जो आपको आनी ही चाहिए, because if you are in this domain and TechMatrix Consulting, if you are consulting firm, one should be always in a consulting mode. One should know the capabilities part as well. So I think
rightly. what mindset helps the most?
What mindset helps the most for a fresher?
Yes, or a fresher or any domain or any level of experienced person.
So I think as far as mindset is concerned, I think one of the things which I already communicated or tell is ki this learn unlearn part, which I already communicated. Another part is that for up in this evolving system of Agent Force, I think Agent Force 1 was launched, let's say October month, and now Agent Force 3 actually has arrived. So one need to upskill themselves, as simple as that. So mindset should be, I should be always in the learning stage. It is not like I have done a 7 year of experience or 8 year of experience. I will stop learning. A new tool is about to come in next Dreamforce. As simple as that. Those who are, I think, fresher, they must be knowing that the Salesforce has a tendency to organize an yearly conferences, which are Dreamforce, and every September, every October, they launch a new product. So Agent Force or AI part, which was launched last October, they may come up with a new thing, maybe rebranding of anything, but they may come up with the next part. If I'm not knowing those part, agar mujhe nahi pata hai, definitely on that front, I need to upskill myself. So I think that is something which is important. So Agent Force 1 was launched, I think last year, October. अभी अगर आप गूगल करोगे तो एजेंट फोर्स 3 चल रहा है. सो मैं अपने लिए यही बोलूंगा, मुझे 1 भी अभी पूरा समझ में नहीं आया है. जब 1 नहीं आया तो 3 कैसे आएगा? सो आई थिंक one need to upskill themselves. So that is the mindset which is important.
When you are with the client for requirement gathering session and clients ask you something which you don't know, and how to handle
there will be
this
many
situation.
scenarios. As a fresher, I think there will be many scenarios when I don't know something or many things actually. So I think for online calls, the standard answer is I'll get back to you. So I think wo to hum use and that is for a fresher, that is a pain point. So you are supposed to cover those pain points. You're supposed to understand those pain points, and you may not be knowing those things. But I think that experience you can easily learn while shadowing a project. So I suggest that those who are in the initial stages, they can at least see, like if Vishal is in one of the project as a functional consultant or senior consultant, you can shadow that part, that how to tackle that stakeholder management. The stakeholder management is something which is very important. Technical skills will not be evaluated. Even if you are weak in, like you do not know flow में error कैसे solve करते हैं, that is fine. But one should know capabilities of flows क्या होती है. So that is something which is very important. So I always say, what are the capabilities of a product? So for functional people, for business requirement sessions, what is Salesforce is about to do? What Salesforce will do for a company? They are not here to learn those Apex, LWCs and all those components. They are there for their pain points, which can be solved by multiple products also in the market. So it is important to understand, अगर Salesforce नहीं करेगा तो कोई extra service now कर सकता है. So it is important to understand that what are the capabilities of a product. So I think those are like important things.
Correct. Any last tips for our audience or freshers or an experienced person who's into consulting domain?
Capabilities of product is something which is important. Stakeholder management is very important. So how to manage those stakeholders is something which is very important. Then we can say time management is also very important. So let's say if you have a BRG sessions and you start engaging in one of the activities, so one should be knowing in how much time I have to cover a session. If I am a thing called email to case, so if for email to case, if there are 2 hours being allocated or 3 hours being allocated, so I should be completely covering that part, as simple as that. So I think time management is very important. So punctuality, I think, are the standard things which are always there. So I don't see those need to be reiterated, because in professional, I think punctuality and all those things are always important. So
I would like to add 2 or more 3 points around this.
Yes.
So some final tips are, you have to be a very good listener if you are in a consulting domain. So if you can't listen requirement or things correctly, then you won't be able to answer to the client on how and what. Okay. Second is, you have to be very much vocal about it.
Absolutely.
Correct.
If you are not vocal, I think you can't, you at the back end, like if you are working not in front of client, then I think you can be silent, or you may speak to a respective stakeholders. But at a client facing role, vocal is something which is very, very important. आप आवाज नहीं उठाओगे, client आपको दबा देगा. Simple. So I think I have seen that heat also in the projects कि अगर आप vocal नहीं होगे तो client will say हमने तो ऐसी बात नहीं करी थी. So I think documentation part, which I already said, that is something which is important. So vocal is very, very important. One need to be very vocal in front internal team also, And at least for the client, so it is very important.
So I would like to proceed towards the closer note of this session. So आज हमने decode किया DNA of requirement gathering analysis. But crux of the story is you should be a good listener, proactive thinker, and be very much vocal about it. And the last point is please do have platform understanding and platform's capabilities understanding, what a platform can do and what a platform cannot do. Correct? क्योंकि इसी की वजह से आप client को how and when का आंसर कर सकते हैं. So closing this session, guys, stay tuned with us for some more formal sessions with informal answers. So thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.